So glad you're with us on the Retirement Playbook. Brad Johansson with Ed Botello, WealthMax Financial Group. How are you today, my friend?
I'm well. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing great, man. I want to talk about something that's probably going to affect you. If it hasn't affected you already, it's going to affect you in the retirement road. Ed is constantly looking at what is changing in the financial environment, which leads us to today's topic. It's the A word. Yeah, it's annuities. And you may have heard good things, you may have heard bad things, but you've heard about annuities at this point because they have become so popular. And I want to talk about this because if we look at a Life Insurance Marketing Research Association study now, this is some serious number work as we're talking about what happened last year. Total annuity sales last year, $432.4 billion in annuity sales in 24. Third consecutive year that we've had record highs in annuity sales. $313 billion in 22, another $385 billion in 23. Look, the numbers are the numbers, which means people are moving into them for a reason. What's the reason it continues to build year after year?
Yeah, Brad, I think you're going to see more purchasing of annuities this year than you did the past 2 years.
We're going to have 4 consecutive years.
I think so.
Why?
Because an annuity is a tool. It is a vehicle that gives guarantees, and people want guarantees in times of uncertainty. And in 2025, what is not uncertain?
Amen. I mean, one day after another, we're trying to figure it out. So if people say, okay, I've heard the word, annuities are out there. If I want to prevent myself from having big losses, which is, I guess, what 2025 is about, right? Because we're feeling like the market is telling us that I'm not sure anymore. So is this the number one, and we're going to spend some time on this today, is this the number one prevention of me losing my wealth?
Yeah, there's a few things that you can put your money in, Brad, that prevents you from loss. Right? And I always talk to people about every investment vehicle has pros and cons. And annuities is a vehicle that is massively misunderstood, right? And so an annuity is a contract with an individual and an insurance carrier. Okay. And it gives contractual guarantees. Right? I always talk about an annuity almost being like a cousin to a CD. There's some similarities, but they're not the exact same. And so when people want guarantees, they look at a few different vehicles: banking vehicles, insurance vehicles, and annuity is one of them.
Okay, so when you say cousin to CDs, CDs tell me that I'm short-term in, I'm really good, I know that I've got a fixed rate, I can take something out. When you say cousin, we're not talking, for the most part, short-term when we're talking annuities, are we?
Well, you can, right? There are some short-term annuities, there's some mid-term annuities, and there's some long-term annuities. And so that's why you want to speak with a financial professional in regards to what you need, right? And everybody is different, right? We always talk about everybody needing a different type of playbook, depending on your lifestyle that you want to live, or the assets that you own, or your appetite for market risk. If you don't have appetite for market risk, well, then you may want to consider an annuity. And an annuity is not for everybody, Brad, right? It's for those who understand the power of zero. Right? Not losing is sometimes more important than trying to hit grand slams and home runs. Sometimes not striking out and just taking your base is the right at-bat.
Okay, zero is your hero, you say. And you said, those who don't have the appetite for market risk. This may be where a lot of annuities got their bad name, and that is a variable annuity. So explain to me, what is variable? Do you use them with your clients? And is this why there's a scary point to annuity?
So we use no variable annuities in our playbook, Brad. Our playbook has no variable annuities. Number one, variable annuities have fees and variable annuities have downside. And we already know the market has downside, so we don't need an annuity to partake in market downside. We use an annuity to protect from the downside, the power of zero. When the market reduces or declines, our annuity dollars are 100% safe. Okay, and the market where it is today, it might make sense to transfer some, not all, but some of your wealth into something that's going to protect you from the downside, because in my professional opinion, it's not if, it is when this market, and we already seen a little bit of it starting in 2025, okay? But an annuity is almost like a seatbelt, right? You don't want it until you need it, right?
Yeah.
And so in the time of a crash, a market crash, thank God I had it on.
Okay, so we could go through a list because there's a lot of annuities.
Yeah.
Look, there's single premium annuities. There's multi-year guaranteed annuities.
Sure.
There's fixed index annuities. There's registered index links annuities. What do you focus on the most? And we say this again. This is not for everyone. Yeah. This is for a lot of clients who are coming in, who are moving into this retirement red zone or are already in retirement. What do you use with most of your folks? Is there a general group? Are you into, when you say zeros, you're here with fixed index annuities?
Yeah, we like fixed indexed annuities the most. Why? Number one, there's no fees, right? Who wants fees in their plan?
Nobody.
Right? Yeah, so a fixed indexed annuity provides you no fee, right? It provides you also no downside risk. If the market does go down, your dollars in that annuity does not participate in that market correction. Now, that's the pro, right? What's the con? Well, you don't participate in the full upside potential of an annuity. But a lot of times, again, hitting singles and doubles is better than hitting home runs and striking out, especially as you start to prepare for retirement, right? I always talk about the retirement red zone, right? The 5 to 7 years before retirement.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people, they want to accumulate their wealth, right? Hey, they're in their peak earning years, but remember where the market is, right? And so in those 5 to 7 years, you can be putting money into your tax deferred or retirement accounts. But if the market doesn't participate, you're just gonna lose. And so we use a little defense, right, in our playbook, right? We use annuity as defense, right? We know stocks are going to do well, but we also know there's downside risk. And it's almost like throwing a ball deep in football, right? The wide receiver can catch it, but he also can drop it, and there also can be an interception, right? Sometimes we just want to take a knee, especially where the market is today.
Okay, have you had people coming in, when I use these numbers of the hundreds of billions of dollars in annuities sold, have you had people come into your office who said, I am absolutely against annuities, don't try and sell me an annuity, and have gone, you know what, you don't have to sell me anything, this is actually what I need in my playbook now?
Yeah. Brad, what is your favorite candy or chocolate bar? Putting you on the spot.
I'm going to wonder whether or not you've actually even heard of this bar, because I'm so much older than you. It's still out there.
Okay.
Have you heard of a Take 5?
I have. Yeah. Now, just think about
this. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, think about the taste of a Take 5 bar.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put a different wrapper on it.
Okay.
Is it still? It's now a yellow pink. It's an ugly wrapper. Is it still your favorite candy bar?
Do I know what's inside?
Yeah, well, the taste of it, right?
I know
concept
the taste
of it.
Yeah. But now I've changed the wrapper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still okay with a bar.
Right. So don't focus on the term or the title of annuity. Focus on what's inside the wrapper, what it provides you, right? All the thing that your Take 5 candy bar provides you, right? Those tastes that you're thinking about right now. That's what we need to focus on, right? What the tool, what the vehicle provides you in the retirement plan. And it always goes back to retirement plan.
Are you thinking about the taste of a Take 5? Or your favorite candy bar? Look, the idea is that you need something that fits in your plan, and if the taste is good, the wrapper really doesn't matter. So the idea is you need to explore something that somebody's already told you may have a bad wrapper on it, but man, the candy's good. You need a retirement playbook. This is what Ed is offering. At this time, to get a complimentary written financial plan, because maybe all you have is a portfolio. Maybe you've heard about annuities and said, you know what, I'm not sure I want this thing. Maybe you need to explore it. and it costs you absolutely nothing. You're being sold nothing. The idea is what's best for you. It's why Ed has become a fiduciary independent advisor, so he can work for you. And maybe this is for you, and maybe it's not. When would you like to know? How about making the call at 844-837-3643 to find out whether you can put together a retirement playbook that's good for you. It's complimentary. Did I mention that? Oh, and it tastes so good. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there or be square. Happy birthday to you. As you can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to the Retirement Playbook. Brad Johansson, Ed Botello, WealthMax Financial Group. We're talking annuities today, and oh no, I don't want. I think you want to listen to this because this is what's happening right now in financial planning to try and make sure that you have money till the end of your retirement. What's the greatest fear of people right now? That you're going to run out of money before retirement. This is what we're going into. We've said this, Ed, that it's not for everybody. Oh, okay, if it's not for everybody, how do you determine what kind of annuity goes into what person's playbook in this?
Yeah, well, when you meet with us or an advisor at WealthMax Financial, we're going to start with a discovery meeting.
Okay.
And the discovery meeting is going to talk about the visions, the goals that the client and their family has, right? And what do they want to accomplish, right? And that's what leads me to what the tools we use, right? And we always talk about there's 3 types of money that we need, right? We need liquid money. We need a bucket of money that needs to be liquid. We kind of think about that as a 1 to 3 year bucket.
Okay.
Then we need kind of that income bucket, right? That 5 to 7 year bucket that's going to be there. We can't rely on the market there because we don't know what the market's going to do in 5 to 7 years. And nobody loves the stock market more than me. We know that it's going to do well over the long term, but that's our long-term bucket. And so we start to transition long-term buckets into these buckets of annuities to start protecting our clients from the volatility that we've already experienced in 2025, maybe by protecting their asset with the power of zero, or maybe protecting their income for life. I always talk about everyone has a form of an annuity. Social Security acts like an annuity. You get paid for the rest of your life, and if your Social Security is the breadwinner, then that goes to your spouse's life, right? And so pensions and annuities.
Pensions were annuities.
That's right. That's right.
So how do I find out whether I'm suitable? Do you go through suitability questions with people on this as well?
Yeah, well, we do go through suitability questions, but it's basically what's in your best interest, right? And we would never put every dollar that they own in an annuity because there are some cons to an annuity, guys, right? There's liquidity risk, there's interest rate risk, there's a lot of things that can, obviously the cons of an annuity, right? But there's a lot of pros, especially in today's environment. Highly, highly recommend looking into if it is benefit for you.
I'm going to go through some questions. Do you have goals for the use of invested funds that are consistent with the long-term nature of annuity? How does that question work towards a person's suitability kind of thing?
Yeah, so the first thing that we always ask them is how much money do you need? Or let's take the word need out. Let's take the word want, put the word want in there, right? What is your retirement? What do you want your retirement to look like, Brad?
Because you're dealing with necessities now. Now you're trying to create this is my play money.
Yeah, paychecks and playchecks,
Okay.
right? We gotta pay the bills, but we also want some cash to play with, right? And so go years, slow go years, no go years, we start talking about these things with our clients. What do they want to accomplish? Now, if their foundational income doesn't support their paycheck, so if their Social Security, if their pension is not supporting what your lifestyle needs for income, that's where we maybe start transitioning some of our assets into guaranteed income, which is an income benefit annuity. Let's go back to the chocolate wrappers, right?
Okay.
Annuities are like chocolate, okay? There's many of them, right? There's chewy chocolate, crunchy chocolate. There's different types of annuities, and each one works a little bit different. Each one tastes a little bit different.
We always talk about taxes in retirement. Are you sufficiently in a high income tax bracket to benefit from tax deferral? Explain how that works with this as well.
Tax deferral is a great benefit from an annuity, okay? A CD, you get the tax bill every year that your interest is earned. And so an annuity is tax deferred. You actually don't have to pay the gains or the income tax until you take the annuity out or take the asset as income. But the problem with that is we always talk about taking taxes now being on sale. So we actually do some strategic planning in regards to annuity having that tax deferred benefit, but also taking advantage of taxes now.
So the next one ends up being is, are you likely to be in a lower income tax bracket at the time that the annuities are then distributed? That's part of the question of suitability?
Depends who you talk to. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the question for suitability, yes, but is that actually a fact? Are you going to need more income less income, in retirement than you were working? I challenge that concept. I think you're actually going to need more income.
If you're going in go-go years.
Yeah, I mean, every day's a Saturday. I spend the most money on Saturdays because I'm not working on a Sunday.
Life income. Because this would be part of one of the annuities that you say, you know what, I want this for an income source. Down the road, I'm going to need something that's guaranteed for income.
Yeah, it's like putting money into a vending machine, and this vending machine just keeps spitting out income for the rest of your life, and some for the rest of your spouse's life, right? And it's a set it and forget it plan. Now we manage it, right? Because there's indexes in there that we have to follow in the account values. However, this is a very, very good tool for someone who is nervous about running out of money. And when you do protect your income for life, now you can be a little bit more aggressive with your other assets in the market because your income is protected. So in 2022, when the market was down and you had an income benefit annuity, you weren't overly concerned because your income was guaranteed.
Okay, so insurance companies are really betting on themselves that they're going to be investing your money in a better way for them. That's why they can do this. Some of the solutions now to some of the problems are because they have come up with the idea of their investing, so they're creating bonuses on top of these annuities that even investing now and saying, give us your money for a period of time, will guarantee you more. We're talking 14, 17, 20, 21% bonuses, in some states even greater than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good bonus products out there, okay? And if you have an annuity that's 3 years old or older, you need to be looking at, does it make sense to refinance these? Because we are in a pretty good interest rate environment, okay? Interest rates haven't been this high since 2007, okay? And so that's where these products like annuities are priced based on interest rates, okay? We hope the insurance company does better with our money than, we
question.
can. Yeah, we hope so, right? And so that's the risk they take, and we take no risk, right? And so we're transferring the risk to an insurance company, and we're getting guarantees. And I think a little bit of everybody's retirement needs some type of guarantees.
You're kind of pointing to that when you said if you have this 3 years or older, and maybe that's where some of the feelings come from on annuities is, I bought one of these a while ago. Well, the interest rates weren't like this a while ago. This is why you're encouraging so many people to come in and say, you know what, maybe it's time to take a look. And if nobody's talked to you about the one you're in and it hasn't performed the way you want it to perform, maybe it's time to look at these better solutions. Correct?
I totally agree. I mean, we're using a fixed indexed annuity right now that actually has outperformed the market since 2000, okay, with no market risk. Now, does that mean take all of your money out of the market? Absolutely not, okay, because we know the market will outperform a lot of things, especially your annuity. Why? Because we're taking risk, right? Risk and reward go hand in hand. If I want to take a lot of risk, my reward's going to be there. But if I want to lower my risk, my reward's going to be a little bit lower. And so these fixed index annuities give us no downside risk, but we might be capped, right? 8, 9, even 10% caps. So if the market exceeds it, well, you're capped at 10, but if the market drops 20%, by the way, the average bear market is 31%. The average. Could be worse, could be a little bit better. The average is 31, right? Based on where we are in the market, back in November, we were at an all-time high. I expect something to go down.
This may be your time now. And if you've been waiting just to try and figure this out, maybe you need to make a call. 844-837-3643 to come in for your complimentary financial plan to put your retirement playbook together. Maybe it includes annuities. Maybe you think that this is the time. Yeah, you probably passed the time. Maybe you watched for a while and said, I'm going to wait to call. Don't wait any longer. 844-837-3643. We'll wrap up the annuity talk when we return.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
So glad you're with us today. Maybe your big day to be able to get that second opinion and try and figure out whether this is something that's right for you. We're talking about annuities on the Retirement Playbook. Brad Johansson, Ed Botello, WealthMax Financial Group. All right, let's go through. We don't have a whole lot of time. Let's do pros and cons of this. Do you want to start with cons first? Because people are always going to the negative.
Yeah, let's start with the negative, right? There is liquidity cost when you purchase an annuity, right? You can't capture all of your dollars when you start putting dollars into an annuity, right? You lose some of the liquidity, right? So that's why you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. Because what do we need in retirement, Brad? We need liquidity.
We need liquidity.
Yeah, so we talk about having the right portion of your assets in tools like annuities and CDs and contractual guarantees, right? The next one is, obviously, if they're protecting us from the downside, they're not going to give us all the upside, right? So the last 2 years, really, really good markets where our clients only captured 8, 9, 10%,
yeah,
right? Missed out on the 23% markets that we had. But when 2025 started, they were pretty happy that they had an annuity. Right? And that's because they were fully protected and they locked in their gains. They locked in the gains that 2023 and 2024.
For a lot of those people who you had in annuities at that time, when the market starts going like this, the phone probably doesn't ring because our people are going, this is why Ed put me here.
Well, we always have a plan for each client, so they know we always talk about market volatility. I live in Rhode Island, but I'm a season ticket holder to the Boston Bruins. And so every single time I go to Boston, I know there's going to be traffic, right? And every single time that you have dollars in the market, you know there should be volatility at some point in your road.
Expect it.
Yeah, you expect it. So you got to leave a little bit early, right? You got to plan in the plan, right, has to be, okay, what happens if the market becomes volatile? What happens if that average bear market of 31% negative does occur and my 1 million drops down to 700,000? Do I have enough assets? And so we protect some of those with contractual guarantees. But another con that we haven't talked about, we talked about it a little bit, is fees, right? And these are more variable annuities. We don't use them. We use very little fee-based annuities, okay? I'm not a big fan of fees. I think they erode financial plans. I think they destroy portfolios, okay? We want to avoid fees as much as we possibly can. And these annuities, they can become complex, okay? There's a lot of different types of annuities: income annuities, variable annuities, MYGAs, SPIAs, right? We can have a whole episode on all different types of annuities. But let's keep it simple. They're complex. You need a professional that understands this. You need a professional that can do all of them, completely independent, completely a fiduciary, so they advise you into what's your best interest.
All right, let's go to some pros.
Yeah,
all right.
all right.
We don't have a lot of time, so hit me with the pros.
Yeah. Would you like guaranteed income,
Yes.
right? Yeah, of course, right? Who wouldn't? So income benefit annuities, they provide guaranteed income. You can live till 100 years old, 120 years old. They're gonna provide you guaranteed income. We hope you live, you're gonna become more wealthy, because these pension-like annuities are gonna provide you income even if your accounts read zero. You spend all your money, the annuity company is still gonna provide you with a paycheck every month. Guaranteed, okay? Another pro, okay, is, again, we already talked about it a lot, is protection from market loss. I think, and we have a chart here that's coming up, we believe that the market is going to be volatile. If you look at the chart here, there's a trend line. Every time we go above that line, we drop below it, but we always pick back above it. Where you could see there in November, we were 184% above that trend line. It's not if we're going to go back below that trend line, it is when. And so we want protection against volatility. And you talked about tax-deferred growth, right?
Yep.
We don't have to pay taxes in accounts like IRAs, starting at 59.5, starting to move some of our assets from 401ks and IRAs to annuities. So that's also a good benefit.
And this may be your time. 844-837-3643 to put together a complimentary written financial plan, your retirement playbook. Does it need to include annuities? Maybe it's time for a second opinion, at least to investigate it to see if it works for you. Guaranteed income for the rest of your life? It may be a pro that you're looking for. And Ed may be the pro you need to work with. Make the call. We're grateful for your time. Thanks for spending it here with us. Now let's see you in the office. And we'll see you right back here next time on the Retirement Playbook.